Congo then, 1995. What's... God, I've been waiting for this for so long. What's better than making friends with a gorilla? Making friends with a talking gorilla, of course. In the wake of Jurassic Park, obviously, author Michael Crichton was suddenly hot property again. And it was only a matter of time before more of his properties were optioned by Hollywood. And sure enough, in 1995, we got Congo. Fancying itself quite the rollicking adventure, it follows an expedition to the rainforests of the titular country in search of blue diamonds, mega space lasers, and an opportunity to rehome a gorilla. Who can talk? Laura Linney plays Dr. Karen Ross, a scientist working for a telecommunications company who seek the rare blue diamond for its properties, which turn normal lasers, obviously, into improbably powerful mega lasers, capable of cutting down trees at a flick of the wrist, because, you know, telecoms. Ross's... The use case scenario...
No idea how that was supposed to help telecoms.
The use case scenario is obvious, Drew. Anywho, Ross's ex-fiancée has a
Is it to cut down 5G masts to stop the spread of coronavirus?
Yeah, actually, yes. That's exactly how they should have been deployed. It was 25 years ahead of its time. Ross's ex-fiancée has just gone missing on a diamond search deep in the Congo, and his father, played beautifully by Joe Don Baker, the boss of said telecoms company, is totally keen to totally find his son and totally not interested in totally the diamonds totally. So off Ross goes on a promise that the diamonds are of secondary concern, totally, dragging with her Herkimer Homolka, Tim Curry, a globe-trotting Romanian philanthropist, and Dr. Peter Elliott, Dylan Walsh, a talkie gorilla expert who wants to take his talkie gorilla Amy back to the jungle for a better sleep. Trust me, it's better not to ask. Upon reaching the Congo, their party is further expanded by Captain Monroe Kelly, Ernie Hudson, who will be acting as their guide, helping them negotiate angry ghost tribes, heat-seeking missiles, Tony Pants, and an uncredited Delroy Lindo as a rogue army captain who gets really upset if you do and don't eat his sesame cake. And this is before we're introduced to the grey murder gorillas who live in the volcano temple. So, let me get this out of the way now. If you hadn't guessed it from my summary, you should know that Congo is an absolute mess of a film, and everyone involved frankly needs a good slap. Director Frank Marshall, whose better work has been certainly been evidenced via his role as a producer, had at least directed Arachnophobia and Alive prior to this, so you'd be forgiven some modicum of surprise at just how bad this movie is. Nothing that happens on screen makes any sense. Every second line of dialogue is clumsy exposition, and no two actors appear to understand they're performing in the same movie. At least with Tim Curry, you know what to expect. But even by his own standards, he's pushing the boat out here, prone to taking his jewelled ring out of his pocket just to stare at it and gun how much double-crossing he is no doubt contemplating. His character introduces himself as, quote, formerly of Romania, finally free from the reins of Ceausescu. A freedom he uses to act precisely as he does in every other role I've ever seen him in, which is to say, like a particularly ripe ham. Dylan Walsh didn't get a lot of work after this. And it's not hard to see why. The last time I saw a blanket this wet was when I forgot to bring the bedclothes in off the washing line one night last year when the UK had those really bad rainstorms. Simian and simp, Walsh spends most of the movie floating around ineffectually with his talking ape like a fart in a spacesuit, seemingly oblivious to the fact that the reason he can't get funding for his research is that he's the only person in the room not to notice he's hanging around with a child in a gorilla costume. And points to anyone who can tell me what accent Ernie Hudson is supposed to be doing. Is it Mae West?
This film is Bring Your Accent to Work Day, isn't it?
Yes, your worst accent. Your accent you got from the thrift store. It's Lenny who really gets the shitty end of the stick, though, as the only member of the main cast who entered the room with some discernible talent. It's truly painful to watch our scenes with Joe Don Baker early in the movie. Two accomplished thespians who have proven their virtue on the boards, choking on lines such as, "Tell me you're sending me to find your son and not for the diamonds." At least she gets to cut some unconvincing angry gorillas in half with a badass laser, and then watch even more unconvincing confused gorillas inexplicably throw themselves into lava for no apparent reason. Yay! And the damned thing is this. For the first hour of this movie, I'm having a whale of a time because it's batshit bonkers and so bad it's good. Most of the first hour is on par with a mid-2000s Asylum Studios production, both in the value on screen and the choice in performances. But I had a total epiphany this viewing at the point where Grant Heslov's character utters the line, "This is pure Kafka." Now, Kafka it most assuredly is not, but watching Marshall's choice of camera angles and the performances of Heslov and his interrogator, I suddenly became aware that this movie is actually trying to be humorous, a fact I'm confident is borne out minutes later by a line I'd never noticed before when Delroy Lindo's character leans against the fourth wall and announces, "Everybody in my country is so afraid of being seen in an American movie being cruel to a gorilla." That's a hell of a line if you care to stop and think about it, and I am as grateful for it as I am the obsession with sesame cakes and a gorilla who knows how to smoke a cigar and adopts an aloof affectation as she does. Don't inhale, Amy. It's a real shame the last half hour of this film is just agonisingly bad as opposed to genuinely insane, because it would make Congo one of the best stoned watches imaginable. Can I recommend Congo? Jesus Christ on a hoverboard? No, I cannot. Do I think you should watch it? No comment. I somehow roped these two into it, so my work here is very much done, and it's of no consequence to me if you do. But if you do, I ask you first to pour yourself a large one and dream of me, my loves.
Don't you just love Heisenberg's uncertainty cake? This film is hot garbage from everything from its monkey. I'm obviously going to use the word monkey because it's considerably funnier than ape, but we all know the difference, so hold it.
Yes.
The monkey that talks and also is apparently aware of the concept of time. Mm-hmm. Okay. And also weighs nothing when it's convenient for the plot, and then is really heavy when it's convenient for the plot. So that's quite a useful skill to have, and they should probably try marketing that to the slimming community.
A mass-shifting monkey.
Yes. I could have done with basically 1,000% more Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo, I mentioned this to you a couple of days ago when we were speaking about preparing for this episode. Why? I don't think on paper it is, but any time I've watched this, I see his character, I think, that's got to be racist.
Given how bad all the other accents are, and just how ill thought through everything else is, honestly, if it is, it's unintended.
In keeping with the theme of the piece, yes.
What I found was a bit more racist was the tribe of black people in whiteface, which I think is a terrible cultural appropriation that we shouldn't be doing. And immediately
so you mean
after
the ghost tribe, Scott?
Yes,
the ghost tribe. That explains that.
And then after that, immediately after they'd shouted the soul of Taylor Nichols back into his body, he then has to pretend to be upset and so shocked by the most gormless monkey in the world staring at him. It's like, that's an acting challenge again. No one should have to do. Then he dies again. Poor guy.
Thanks for bringing me back. Oh, a monkey. Oh God, he's gone again.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird there are bits that, like, it feels almost like the film's trying to make commentary, like the one the first one.
Does it?
It's the Delroy Lindo line about the people being afraid to be seen hurting a monkey in an American film. It's like that. It feels like you're trying to say something there, and then.
I think that was just an attempt at humour, man.
Maybe.
I fully expected him to turn around and just wink at the camera.
But then later on, when the ghost tribe appears and Ernie Hudson says that they're laughing because I said I'm the chief because I'm a black man, I should be carrying stuff in my head.
Yeah.
Again, it could have just been a failed attempt at humour. This film's a failed attempt at film. And then, I don't know, just the whole thing is just so bad. You can see that they all think they're making the next Jurassic Park.
I'm not so sure about that. 'Cause I thought this is a dumpster fire, but sometimes it's nice just to watch the flames for flickering, right? Everyone in this, I thought, was acting like they thought this was a big pile of and acting up, apart, curiously, from Linney, who comes across as the worst actor in it by dint of being the best, because he's the only one that's actually trying to give a performance that would fit in a film, whereas everyone else is just bouncing off the walls.
Everyone else is just going...
It's like everyone else has given up. They gave up on day one. After Linney, the best performance is probably, Bruce Campbell? And he's Bruce Campbell? Yes.
See, here's the thing. This is my point. I think, so we've got three different opinions here, because I think this movie was aiming for funny a lot of the time. It was going to be a Saturday matinee adventure movie, right? But with a crazy budget. But they're like, yeah, we know those kinds of movies are silly. So this is why it's got humour in it. But the humour doesn't come across at all.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. From what I've read, it's a B-movie adventure. It's a B-movie concept, even from Crichton's original stuff. So that's clearly what they're going for. It's the old B-movie concept with an A-movie cast that's put in a Z-level performance, and none of it works. And of course, all the effects are garbage.
Is Lenny the mistake then? Is Lenny the mistake? Because unfortunately, her character grounds this in reality, where really they should have just had someone else going, I don't think in her place.
Yeah, I don't think you can put Laura Linney next to Ernie Hudson and have that make any sort of sense.
No. If you put Bruce Campbell in a film, you're making a statement.
Yeah, if you put Bruce Campbell in a film and barely have Bruce Campbell in the film, you've made a mistake, unless it's just a simple cameo like the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So they needed more Bruce Campbell. I think they should have swapped
Linney and Campbell. Because if you do that and have Campbell do his normal shtick next to everyone else in it, this would probably be a hell of a lot more fun. Get Sam Raimi to direct it as well. Why not?
Yeah,
that might actually make it work.
Laura Linney does stand out because she's a professional. That's the problem. She's too professional.
Yes.
That's a brilliant idea. Make her a cameo at the start as the biggest name in it, and Bruce Campbell's character goes in, and all of a sudden you've got the Mummy, but set in the Congo.
Yes.
And it probably works a lot better. That's actually a pretty good observation, actually.
But also, what they should do is take out Ernie Hudson, basically swap Ernie Hudson and Joey Pants, and have Joey Pants leading the expedition, because he seems to get it as well, and is also considerably better than Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, that's it. He obviously fancied okay, I'm going to be able to hop out. Because where did actually they film the majority of this? I strongly suspect that Joey Pants signed up because he was going to get a check for $100,000 and a chance to just take a holiday in Kenya or something while he was there. He's like, yeah, sure, I'm up for seeing the African continent. That's culturally a lovely opportunity. Sign me up. What do I have to do? Lean out of a plane and just make some weird comments and just randomly swear for no reason in a film that could otherwise have been a PG-13. Oh no, it was a PG-13. Sorry, it's a 12, isn't it? Yeah. There's a couple of instances of the F-bomb in this that really stick out. It's really weird. Really weird. But anyway, yeah.
I can't even remember them, but honestly, I think since I finished watching this a couple of hours ago, that I've more just been wondering what a 12,000 channel chip is and how that makes it a gun able to explode satellites. And I'm very confused by this film.
It's a, I don't know, it's a power amplifier diamond somehow, so...
Yeah, well, this is it, obviously. It's. It seems more like the solution to the world's energy problems than it does a telecommunications tool. Is it supposed to be something ridiculous to do with line of sight laser communication or something? Because then when she does point it at a satellite, it blows it up.
It seems a bit... I'm wondering why they had a laser gun at all.
Yes.
That seems almost secondary to the original plan, that somehow lasers were going to make their satellites not be obsolete in 3 years. This is not a very clever film.
I'm sure it's got something to do with line of sight, but then it's kind of undermined with the fact that for some reason the form factor of it is a handheld weapon that people can wave about in an incredibly dangerous fashion. It's got no safety mechanisms at all. Tell me again how this is going to be fitted to a satellite. Shut up. I'm too busy cutting down half the rainforest, you fool. Man alive.
If nothing else we've learned, don't let gorillas guard your mine.
Yes.
Because they'll go bad. They'll just go bad.
And look very pallid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, understandably upset, I'd say.
I don't know, even the production design in this film is very confused, though, because they're talking about King Solomon, the ancient king of Judea, coming across to Eastern Africa and Central Eastern Africa, and then creating this city that looks like it's from like Cambodia or something. It's very Asian looking in styling, but then with Egyptian hieroglyphics with the Judean king. What? Did you
Michael
just,
Crichton does his research.
It's very, very strange. And then I was watching it too, thinking, their temple, it doesn't look as much like a studio set as I expected. So, the lighting's a bit better than I expected there, and the walls, I'll believe, are rock, and then an explosion starts, and suddenly there's like bits of polystyrene coming out of the ground that would have put the 1960s Star Trek to shame. Like, oh dear.
Do you know what I've just realised? I've just realised this whole movie happens because Joe Don Baker's character has the same experience with the satellite as I had last night and this morning with my phone upgrade. You haven't upgraded your satellite in a while, Joe Don Baker. We've got an offer for you. You need a blue diamond, Joe Don Baker. It's free. It's £9, but it's free. And you need to send someone to come and collect it. And the mistake I made was not sending an expedition party to the Vodafone shop.
And now you're going to get killed by a gorilla.
That's it.
There you go.
And meanwhile, my wife's pleading with me, tell me you're going to the shop for your son and not a phone upgrade, Craig. See?
Can we also
It's all
talk about Jerry
circular.
Goldsmith's score, which
No.
is mostly unmemorable, apart from the beginning where he's basically trying to make it sound like Alien.
Can we talk about the cheapest looking title card ever on a film that had like a $50 million budget or something? It's like, oh, cool, your first shot of using Adobe After Effects and you did this. Horrendous from start to finish. But the first hour is a treat.
It's hard to take your eyes or ears off most of this film, I found.
Exactly my point.
I certainly don't like it. I will never watch it again, but I can't say I wasn't entertained by it. It is
Exactly.
nuts.
You can't say that you're mad that I essentially made you watch this.
I would like to, but that would be dishonest of me now.
Exactly. I apologise for the last 40 minutes. I truly do.
Well, here's the thing. I was saying to you, I think in many ways it's worse than Gorillas in the Mist, but it's considerably more entertaining.
Yes.
100%. And that's the
Which
point
is
of why I
wrong.
lobbied for this episode. And that is my goddamn gift to you and to the listeners. Thank you and good night.